Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So today, it's been a minute since we've done much with the S2000. I mean, we tinkered with the brakes a little bit recently, and other than that, I mean, the car, other than maintenance, has just been kind of sitting. We changed the exhaust. That was the other mod we did recently, but really, the car has just been great, no complaints. But I finally, after doing the tail of the Dragon and stuff, and after, ripping around in the Integra and stuff, and that it's starting to cool off a little bit, I really missed having a seat that held me in place. So I did a lot of research, and this past weekend while I was out in California, we were staying in, West Covina, which is, I don't know, 25, 35 minutes away from where Evasive Motorsports is. So if you don't know who Evasive is, they are the guy that is on the hat, and they sell a lot of S2000 parts. They're kind of, your general wholesale parts distributor, but they have lots of S2000 goodies, and so I made a trip down in there to test fit some seats. So let me show you what I got. So, like I said, we were out at Evasive Motorsports, and I've just been really wanting the bucket seat for the S2000. So, Doge used to have a Recaro pole position in his, right? Doge used to have a Recaro pole position in his, and he's about my size, slightly smaller, but I just, knowing that as you guys know, I road trip the piss out of my car. I've done a track day. I intend to do more. I do a lot of canyon time, but I do a lot of the long driving, so I needed something that had comfort, quality, and comfort. So I settled and got a happy medium. So basically with the S2000, you're very limited on seating because of how narrow the cabin is, just similar to the Miata and such. So the Recaro pole position and some of the brids, whatever you want to call them, were a bit out of my budget. So this right here, thanks to Josh down at Evasive, was helping me out. He let me test a few seats out. They had their S2000 in the lobby. I forget which Recaro they had in there, but it was nice, but a bit out of my budget. The pole position was a few $100 out of my budget as well, because I did have to get rails. So this is the happy medium. This is a Sparco QRT-R, and essentially I was told that these seats were more or less built around the design of the S2000, so while giving taller drivers a little bit more room, because that's the issue with the pole positions for taller people, is they just don't have the comfort, and they sit you slightly higher than I'm told than these ones. So I figured we'd make a video on this and installing it and me reviewing it, because there's only one other guy on here and he kind of just did it outside the car. So me, I am, I don't know, 5'9", 5'10", somewhere around there, and I'm about 165 pounds. So this seat is going to be perfect for me because it's got more leg room here, because the way the base of the bucket curves out allows you to get your legs to, spread a little bit on those longer drives. It's got pretty good cushion. I mean, it's soft, so I'm not really too worried about it, because I intend to remove the cushion for longer drives, make my own out of memory foam or something. But overall, the base of in here where your butt sits is about 15 inches across inside diameter, so it's got plenty of space for somebody like me. And I think the waist size is intended to be about 36 inches, which is far bigger than I am. So ideally, again, with a bucket seat, you want it to be super tight, holding you in place, but this will give me enough tightness where I can rip around a back road or a track day and have good feedback with the seat and stay in place, but again, having the spare room to play around. So with that though, because this seat is pretty wide, the S2000 is a very narrow tunnel and such, you won't be able to fit your seatbelt. I'm not one for running harnesses on the street in this car, because I don't want to do a roll hoop, and I don't trust putting harnesses to the factory roll hoop. So shout out Doge for saving me on shipping and time. A seatbelt extender. So this is what, from Balad Sports?
It was actually where they bought theirs from. Can't remember, seatbeltextenders.com, something like that.
Yeah, so just a seatbelt extender, because get your belt to sit up in here like that. And then right here we have the Buddy Club S2000 rails. So I already did open them, and there is gripe in the forums about the weld quality. And mind you, this is a 21/22 manufacturing date seat, so it may be different than ones that you guys may have had or have. And then these are the newer Buddy Club rails, and I already inspected them. The weld quality, I think, is about as good as you're gonna get. So I don't know if they added this before, but there is recessions on the bottom side where they filled with weld, because my concern was there's not a lot of surface area, because basically what these things are, these are rails / seat mounts in one, so it's essentially just 3/8 flat stock welded to the rail itself. There's not a whole lot of space to weld, but the weld that they have in there, I really do trust. Worst case, I got 2 welders here. I can TIG it, I can MIG it, I can do what I need to do. And the majority of the concern from other people comes from the other rail where the seatbelt bolts to, because of photos on forums where it was broken off. Now this, again, has a recession underneath the nut here, and it's got 3 heavy welds on there, heavy tack welds, I would say. And I mean, I'm not concerned with it. I mean, but yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Sorry for the long intro and explanation of the seat. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that if you guys are looking into buying the same seat, this is the one that I got. So let's get to actually installing it in the vehicle. All right, so obviously, got to get your seat out. It's definitely much easier if you haven't taken it out before with the top down, because I made a little boo-boo last time on the other side of the car, and I got a sticker hiding it. But the S2000 is a little funky, so the front 2 bolts are going to be 12 mil, and the rear 2 are going to be 14 mil. So take those out. Don't forget to take your seatbelt off. Just slips out of that. Put that in there. You slimy sausage, you.
Not me.
You guys probably can't hear Doge because I got the lav mic on, so it's probably not picking him up, but he's doing Doge things. So on the bottom side, you're gonna have a seatbelt sensor type warning light connector thing. So kind of tricky, try not to smack nothing, but lean that up and then, I don't know, try and get a shot of that. Yeah, so just pinch and pull. Okay, now just be very careful and don't do what I did on the other side. Gentle. Someone said he wins the race. All right, so now we got our seat out, but we're not done there. We can't just slap the other one in because we do need to reuse our factory seatbelt thingy here. So we're just gonna take that off. That's probably another 14, and it's just a single bolt right there. So this does have a few different random like spacer washer things, so just kind of bear that in mind. And there is going to be a bit of a connector harness thingy on here, so that's where you need to reuse it for. The seat's kind of beat up, so I don't really care about leaning it on the dirty floor, but yeah, so this sensor here is what we need to take off because we're going to add this to our new seat, because this is what's going to tell your cluster or whatever, your seatbelt warning light when you plug it in. Otherwise, if you don't reuse it, your warning light will be on the dash, even though your seatbelt's plugged in. So, all right, there we go. We got what we came for. So it's really convenient because the rail already has a tab, like we showed you before, bolted on. So you just add this. So, suppose put the seat rails together, huh? Because I just remember this is a bottom mount, or this is a side mount seat. So we got to assemble the rails with the tabs onto the seat, and then we can throw it in the vehicle, into the car. Vehicle sounds too generic and professional. Let's throw it in the car. They got the brackets here, so you're gonna have 2 different sets. You're gonna have one with 3 slots, one with 5. The 5 goes in the front, and they give you 8 of these castle nuts to lock everything in place with. So after speaking with my professional associate Doge here, he says to leave everything loose, so that way you can test fit in the car to make sure, because sometimes you need to move these in and out. That's why they're slotted. These are very universal fit things for different types of seats. So yeah, we're just gonna hand assemble all this and then put it in the car. I think you're supposed to have hardware with yours to bolt the seat to the brackets. Mine didn't come with any, so it's just an M8 125. I'm just using just a normal socket head or whatever hex head with a washer. So now we can, bolt this together and throw it in the car. So this is a bit awkward because the fabric kind of overhangs the front hole, so gotta fight with that a little bit, or a lot of bit, but we're good. So this does give you, as you can see, front and back movement as well, so we're really just doing this barely hand tight. Okay, so now we're good to test fit into the car. Oh, it's a good way to strain your back. Okay, so as you can see, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get those bolts in. But we're not looking too bad out of shape yet. So the only part that I see being a potential issue, I was warned that depending on where I sit the seat, probably going to run into issues with the door card, slightly rubbing. So in that case, you kind of just got to slam the door type thing, and it'll probably dent your door card a bit, but small price to pay for, doing stuff like this. But the other issue is the center console here. It's kind of rubbing, so I'm not going to get a whole lot of forward adjustment. It is what it is. I mean, I just wanted to have some sort of adjustment, so we'll figure this out. Everything's kind of hand tight in there. We're just going to give it a quick test sit, make sure it's in the right spot, because either way we do have to pull it back out to snug everything up. So that's not nearly as hard to get into as I was expecting. Like I was thinking like your bride or whatever, like
dude, yeah.
really suck yourself in. So it does need to come forward. So I am kind of rubbing the tunnel up here, so that's where it's going to be a little weird. But yeah, I still got to put the slider portion on. I just got to smack that into place. But it feels pretty good. Honestly, it kind of feels like I'm very slightly offset to the left, which I know there's no way to get perfect because the width of the seat, and I feel like, wasn't yours kind of like that too? Yeah. So there's really nothing to do about that, just because the way these seats are. But overall, like, it feels plenty comfy in here. But it'll just take some getting used to, because I do feel like I'm very slightly offset to the left of the steering wheel. I feel like I'm driving a BMW or something. Okay, yeah, so the door shuts. I mean, you're gonna have to slam it a little bit, I can tell, because we're just barely touching. But yeah, it is what it is. Again, this is what you gotta expect. So I'm pretty happy with the position overall. Like, I do feel like I'm dropped a bit lower in the car, so I think Doja's suggestion of 3 high in the front and top in the rear was a good height. So, I mean, I'm happy. So I'm going to pull this thing out. We're going to attach the seatbelt and then snug everything up. I'm going to try and snug up the base holes that are bolting the side rails to the seat in the car, because I got the wrench for that. So the guy at Evasive did say it was going to be a pain, but I don't know how much of a pain is. Can't get it. All right, so now with the seat out of the car, I realize now that the reason it wasn't letting me slide forward or back is because I did have this piece upside down. So before, when I try to lift it up to actuate the spring here, it was actually contacting the base of the seat right here. And now that I got it forward, you can see it's actually actuating just fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and snug up the 8 nuts. I'm pretty happy with the seating position. I get a little bit of left and right slop with the actual mounting points, but we'll go ahead, we'll do that, bolt up the seat belt really quick, and then we can get the final fit into this car, and hopefully it is the final fit. Oh, well, yeah, this little tab here, it's in the way. You can bend it, you can cut it. I'm probably just going to cut it really quick. So now comes this guy. So this one's also 14 mil, and there is a series of washers on here, so I didn't keep track, but they kind of fell off in the order that they came off, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, this is supposed to be kind of tricky, so it is also a 14 mil. So now, essentially, I'm told get a bunch of slack and then feed it in. And I do have the seat, I think, most of the way forward right now, so yeah, this is just going to be kind of tricky. Because the pain in the butt part of this is the bolt hole itself is kind of angled. So we're going to be kind of fighting this blindly here. Oh, through the shirt. It's like sticking to my skin. Speaking of which, shameless plug, get your SD Fab shirts. I extended the sale, so they're still available. And yeah, don't sweat them too much because they will stick to you. But all right, so we should be good. I got to plug in the connector on the bottom side of the seat yet, but I can reach my arm under there just fine. So we confirmed that the seat rails now work. We got our seat belt here. So what we did end up doing is unbolting the seat all the way and just feeding the thing through and tighten it up. So it is what it is. Okay, so we're good there. Oh, I am not that tall. Okay, so it is a bit stiff because of the tunnel, but yeah, we're looking good right about here. So, all right. Yeah, so this gentle one first. So yeah, you can see a little bit of contact here, but a lot of this is actually pretty plush. Like, a lot of that does suck in. So minimal effort and the door shuts just fine. But yeah, wow, I feel like Doge right now, actually. I need to scoot back just a little bit. Oh, too far. Oh. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of a learning curve because of the slight offsetness, and wearing my hat probably isn't helping because my head's not able to go where I need it to. But yeah, I don't know. It's comfortable for sure. It fits pretty well. You guys can see we got no room over here though, so like, it is what it is. But at least for me, because I can slide it back on my road trips, I like to tuck my heels up right on the frame right there, set cruise control, and just chill. So we're still looking good for that. And again, because I wanted the extra room, being that I am smaller, so I do have a little bit of flop in my thighs, whereas you're normally, again, supposed to be held super tight in place, but this is perfect for me. So, I mean, shout out to Josh down at Evasive for giving us, you know, the 101 on this thing. I'm pretty stoked with it, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that drawn-out install. I will take it for a spin around the block. We'll throw you guys up on the windshield, and we'll get an actual review of how the seat feels in use. All right, so let's give this seat a quick little test review. So excuse me for coming in like that. I just got done washing the car. So right off the bat, at least getting into the car, it's not too bad. The harder part is because I do have a longer seatbelt extender. You know, I kind of got to pull it out from underneath me. But otherwise, we're in here and we're good. But I'm going to try and put the top down because it is absolutely gorgeous out. And hopefully it doesn't affect the audio too much. All right, so it definitely is easier when you have the quick release going on. But let me roll these windows up so we get a little less wind noise. And yeah, let's go. But yeah, overall, it's definitely much easier to get in and out of this seat with the steering wheel quick release setup. So obviously just take it off, because even me being small, I'm about 5'9", 165 pounds, 5'10", somewhere in there. It is a bit of a snug fit. So yeah, otherwise we got plenty of room. So the only part that is going to take some getting used to is I may have to fiddle with the seat just a little bit more, but I know that for sitting wise, I'm slightly offset to the left of center from the steering wheel, and it's kind of weird to me, but I've been in cars like that before, so it's not the end of the world. And I noticed the rail gets kind of sticky, so on the drive over here, getting ready to wash the car to film this, I felt like I was kind of turned slightly to the left. So, you know, just when you go to adjust the rail, kind of give it a good like oomph to make sure it locks into place. But otherwise, the immediate sitting in here, actually spinning it around the block to come to the car wash, it feels good. So I'm gonna get some gas really quick, and then we're gonna cruise over to some twisty roads really fast and see how well it holds me in, being the size that I am. All right, so hopefully you can hear me pretty good, because I do have the top down. Obviously I did put the windows up, but we just got to the canyon. So after about, you know, 15 minutes of driving, giving it a little bit of a fair chance besides just sitting in it, although 15 minutes isn't a lot, it does feel pretty darn comfy. I can tell that perhaps after a super long drive, I can see how this may fatigue your lower back. But for me, in this case, I already had plans to make myself a little memory foam cushion to swap out with for the long drives and stuff. But yeah, now that we're here at the canyon, we'll get a few corners up to the good section, and we'll go ahead and give it a few rips. So good. I'm liking it. Granted, I'm not going super hard because, you know, it's still daytime and there is other traffic on the road, so I'm trying to be courteous, but I'm just trying to get a good feel for how the seat kind of tucks you in. And for me, being, again, a smaller guy in a seat meant for somewhat larger guys, it's still comfortable. I can still move my thighs around for, you know, comfortability. Again, this wasn't meant to be a dedicated, like, track seat for me or nothing. So I think it's awesome. So I don't want to hold this video too long. So I do think I'm gonna just end the video here though. So again, small review on the Sparco QRT-R in the obviously the S2000. So I really like it. Hopefully I can, you know, center the seat up a little bit better, because again, it feels like the rear of the seat is cocked towards the center, so I feel like I'm sitting slightly facing left. And I think just a little bit of jimmying around with the bolts and that'll fix that. But if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you want to pick one up for yourself, Vivid Racing actually has partnered up. I have become an affiliate for Vivid Racing, so I do have a link that you can go and purchase your own through, or anything else. Just use that link, buy whatever you want through them, and your boy gets a little tiny piece of the pie. So that's what helps support the channel. And you can also support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, of course, and sharing it. And thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Do what you love, forget about the rest. Enjoy yourself. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.